Hello researchers, at this time you should have all of your sources in front of you. That's 2 book sources, 3 magazine sources, 3 newspaper sources, and 2 website sources. Now for the book sources, you probably should have at least one tangible book, and then the second one may or may not be an ebook. But what you're going to do is you're going to label each of your sources A through J. So I suggest that you take your book sources, and with the sticky notes provided or the post-its provided, you're going to write an A, the letter A, on one post-it and stick it on your book if it is a book that you have checked out from a library or media center. And then, of course, if your second book source is checked out or someone else's, you could use a second sticky note or post-it and label it B. The rest you can write directly on the actual source if it is something that is yours and something that you do not need to return to its rightful owner. So after you label the book sources A and then B, label the rest of the sources D, E, F, G, all the way until you get to the 10th one, which will be labeled J. Now, the rest of this video will demonstrate how you are to make note cards in Noodle Tools. So, as you can see, I already have 10 sources for this project. So I'm going to open the project, and of course I have my research questions. If you need to change any of them at this time, please do so. Remember, your reading of your sources should be based on finding the problem and the solutions, because that will be the organization of your paper. So either you could go to Works Cited or you could go to Notecards. I prefer to go to Works Cited to start my note cards, and I will find my actual source. So since your actual book sources are labeled A and B, I'm going to choose this one. Let's say that I labeled this source, human trafficking, as source A. So I'll start with it. So after reading a selection from the book, you're going to go ahead and create a source card. Actually a note card. Each of your sources are going to have 5 note cards. And once you get finished with all 10 of them, that equals 50 note cards. So since this source is labeled A, and this is going to be my first source card, I'm going to do A1, and your first note card is going to be a direct quotation. So of course you're going to put a quotation mark to start this statement, and then you're going to type a quote from the source and then end the quote. Since this is a book source, you'll need to actually put the page number where the particular quote is found. So I'm going to just randomly choose a page. Let's say that I got this quote from page 7 of the book. And then my tags. That's why it's important to figure out what the information is, or to read the information so you can distinguish whether that particular quote deals with the problem from your research questions or the actual solution. So you're either going to type in problem, here we go, problem or solution. So this one, I'm going to deem that this quote deals with the problem. Okay, and then at that time you will have one source card after you click save. So now you're going to create another note card, and it's going to be a direct quote. So you're going to label this A2, and then you're going to write a direct quote from the source, and this should just be one statement, okay? And then end quote. And then I, based on what the quote information is, It either is going to be deal with the problem or the solution. So I'm just going to say that this one deals with the solution. This will help with organizing and creating the next phase of the research paper, the outline. All right, so that's the solution, and I found that quote, let's say on page 10. All right, so there you have it. I have a second note card, so I have two. So the first and second one are always going to be direct quotes. The third and fourth ones are going to be paraphrases. So I'm going to type that, the third one, in the paraphrase box. But before I do that, I need to title this note card. So this is going to be A3. A3. And again, since this is from a book, I need to put the page number where that paraphrase was, information was gathered. And then I'll type the paraphrase, type a one sentence paraphrase. All right, remember no quotation marks go around paraphrases. And then you'll hit save, and there's your third note card. Then I'm going to go ahead and create a fourth one, and you got it. It's going to be labeled A4. Very good. And then let's say that I get this paraphrase from page 36, and then I'm going to tag this as a problem, that this paraphrase deals with the problem, and then I'm going to type a one sentence paraphrase. All right, and then save that. And then last but not least, I'm going to do my fifth note card. I will label this A5, and let's just say that this comes from page 76 of my book. And I'm going to tag this as the solution. Or if I already have tags here, I could just click here. And then, of course, I'm going to type a 2 to 3 sentence summary of a large piece of text. All right, and then you'll save that. And there you have it. You have 5 source or note cards actually for one book source. Let me show you what you need to do if it's a non-book source, such as a magazine, something that you don't tangibly have the, it's pretty much you printed this off and it's not an actual published magazine. So say that I labeled this source as C. So remember, your second book source is going to be B. So I'm going to label this C1. And then, of course, I could either put no page, or I could just leave pages blank, since I believe the newest edition of MLA says that you do not need to have the page numbers. If you want to type in the URL, actually you don't need to do that. And then tags again, problem solution. But first you're going to type a direct quote from the text or from the source. I'll say that in period, quotation mark. You'll tag this. Maybe it deals with the problem. And then, of course, you will save this. That's one note card for that magazine source. And then you'll go in and do another one. You will title this C2. You will type a direct, or I'm going to say enter a direct quote from the source. Very good. You'll put MP for no page. And and then of course tag it. Let's just say that this deals with the solution, and then you'll have your second source card for your magazine article. Let me do this. Let me complete this, and we're going to title this. We're going to go to our paraphrase, so we're going to do C3. So remember, 3 and 4 are always going to be paraphrases. So you're going to type that here. So you're going to type a 1-sentence paraphrase from the source. All right, and then of course label that, say it deals with the solution. No, I'm saying it deals with the problem. If it does, of course there's no quotation marks. And then save. And now I have 3. Let me do 2 more. So C4, no page, and then we're going to type the paraphrase. So type a 1-sentence paraphrase from the source. All right, period. We're going to tag that as the solution and save. And we have just one more note card for this one. And you got it. It is going to be labeled C5 since this is the summary. No page since this is from the database. We're going to tag it as the solution. And then you're going to type a 2 to 3 sentence summary of a large piece of the text or source. I like that word, source. All right, and there you have it. Just like that, I have 10 sources, and of course before you begin creating note cards, you'll want to use the provided highlighters to highlight your sources. Of course, you would not highlight any of the book sources if they're not your personal books, or if you have tangible magazines, the same thing. But things that you print off, you may highlight before creating your note cards. All right, doing this process will make outlining easy. Happy researching!